This will be a relatively short explainer of a dynamic that I think can get you in trouble if you're not careful about your research, right? So we have a MiG-15 flown from the perspective of fellow YouTuber Bullet for My Enemy, and we're following a fight between an F4 and this MiG-15. Now the F4 does what you're supposed to do in the Phantom, which is to lead the fight with a Sparrow shot. That doesn't happen because the closure is too much, so he goes in the vertical. Again, just like you're supposed to do with all the papers. So how did this happen? Here we come to an interesting wrinkle, a disclaimer, if you will. So we have the turn capabilities of the F4E in two charts, one on the right showing performance at 5,000 feet, one on the left showing various capabilities at various altitudes and performance parameters. An important point I want to draw your attention to is the configuration of the F4s in these documents. The F4E on the right has half fuel, 2 AIM-7 Sparrows, 2 AIM-9Ps. That's it. The F4 on the left has 4 AIM-7 Sparrows, half fuel. Now these parameters are done so that you can compare the airplane to similarly configured aircraft in, say, a briefing. But the important thing to understand is when you read these documents, you have to make allowances for your actual airplane's configuration, because realistically, you are not going to spawn into a match or a single or multiplayer server where you are going to have just 4 Sparrows on the F4. It's not going to happen. If you're going to fly the F4, you're going to have bombs, you're going to have 4 Sparrows, 4 Sidewinders, and that's going to make your airplane heavy. Now, if you go into a fight like this with assumptions on paper that have different configurations than your actual airplane, this is going to be the result. His F4 has an AIM-7, 2 rails on the wing, and 2 rails in the inner pylons with 4 Sidewinders. Now I can't guess what his fuel state is right now, but even if we assume half fuel, his F4 is way draggier and heavier than the F4 in those documents I just showed you, which means no, he can't outclimb a MiG in his current configuration, and no, his rate speed is not going to be what's in those documents. So what happens? Well, see for yourself. This is the outcome when you come into a fight with reasonably researched data, but you don't take into account the fine print about your airplane's configuration. Now, Bullet for My Enemy makes an observation in his video that he should have just separated with just one engine. Again, we come back to the disclaimer here. An F4 with 2 fully functional engines and no substantial payload could run away from a MiG-15. An F4 with all this stuff hanging under the wings and one engine out and probably a decent amount of fuel, no, he couldn't run away from a BF-109 at this point. So once the fight started, he finished it because win, lose, or draw, he couldn't run away. And this is how it turns out. Thanks for watching.